Hey everyone, welcome to the Active Towns channel. I am in Auckland, New Zealand here today, and I have a very, very special guest with me here. Yay! You might recognize her. She's been on the channel before, Kathryn King. Thank you so much for showing me around today. What are we gonna go see?
My pleasure. It's wonderful to have you here, and I'm very keen to show you around our Central City cycling network. This is a network that we've been developing for about a decade or so now. It includes a number of routes that were delivered in an incremental, transitional fashion that we're starting to make permanent and bringing things up to a nice, safe and easy to maintain standard for the future. We're growing out that network so you can increasingly across the city now get to the key destinations of the city on a bike, which is part of an overall strategy for improving travel choice for people traveling into the city.
Now, since we last spoke, you have a new role.
I do.
So why don't you share a little bit about that?
Thank you. So my role is a regional manager for Auckland, Northland at the New Zealand Transport Agency. So I look after all of our projects and projects at our local council. So Auckland, we have Auckland Council, work really closely with them to deliver out our network.
Fantastic. And we were hoping to have a city official with us as well. That didn't happen. She had some family emergency stuff that she needed to deal with. So you're going to be speaking on behalf of and kind of showing some of the stuff that the city is working on.
Yeah, my previous role before joining the New Zealand Transport Agency, Waka Kotahi, that was with Auckland Transport, which is Auckland Council's transport delivery agency. So you do have in me someone who's done both of those roles.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. Well, I look forward to this little tour here today.
Thank you.
Yay.
Let's get going.
Okay, let's do it.
I love your bike.
Oh, thank you.
What bike is this?
This is a Brompton. It's from London, England. And this is a fabulous bike.
I love the way you put
Yes,
on the
it folds
stand.
down. It travels with me all over the world.
Really? Is it easy to carry?
What's that?
Is it easy to carry?
Oh, it's very easy to carry. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I like to say it travels with me wherever I go, all over the world.
Thank you.
Right now we're in downtown Auckland, and this is sitting right under us right now is our busiest train station, which is currently being upgraded with new stations being added across the city. And a lot of the impetus for creating a connected cycling network around the city centre was to connect up and maximise access to the train stations.
Right, yeah.
So we're just crossing across the square that sits on top of the train station. And, well, we might go, I don't know if we're allowed. We'll go through the middle here. And then I'll take us out onto Quay Street, which is our waterfront route. And it's a route that we had to install before the main railway work started to ensure people cycling were safe during the construction of the railway, because it's where a lot of the big heavy vehicles, the trucks, are running.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure people on bikes would be nice and safe. So we'll just pop out onto the street and we're going to cross across. And join the cycleway on the other side of the street.
Now I came in on this cycleway. This was quite extraordinary. That was nice.
Oh, good. Yeah, this we had to design and build it very quickly, as I mentioned before the city rail link work started. So from start to finish was about a year for this section all the way along here. But it is. It's one of those routes which has had an upgrade over time. So
okay.
outside the train station and our ferry station is had a lovely streetscape upgrade and lots of nice planting that we'll see.
Obviously, this type of work takes a very, very long time, to pull together. How long has the city really been dedicated to trying to move things along?
So in 2015, the government at the time kicked off the urban cycle program.
Okay.
It was really the first big injection in cycling that cities across Aotearoa, New Zealand had experienced. And as part of that package of funding for Auckland, we agreed to complete a number of key strategic links into the city centre. So at the time, that was 300 million committed for cycling.
Okay.
And with the funding was a requirement for the cycleways to be a higher quality and all ages, all abilities. So we're travelling along what has always been our busiest cycle route in Auckland, because it connects all of the beaches, eastern beaches, past the port here, and is a really time-efficient way for people who live in the eastern beaches to get into the city. We can keep going straight. And as you can see, it's flat, which is not that common in our city, as I know you've discovered.
Yes, for sure. But as you mentioned earlier too, the perhaps even before we started filming, the electric assist bike has really helped flatten those hills for people.
Absolutely. What we're finding, and have done a bit of research to understand, we're finding that e-bikes are increasingly common. They're being ridden increasingly by people who I think traditionally in Auckland didn't ride as much, so a lot of women and older people.
Right.
And they are increasingly a car replacement. So they are performing, people riding them are performing the sorts of trips that you'd normally use a car for, doing shopping, collecting kids, and they're providing people with that sort of accessibility that a car provides. Right.
And I'm noticing we're rolling past a sports arena to our right.
Yeah, the Spark Arena on the right, the railway, the key railway coming into the city, and on our left is the main port in this country, the Auckland port. So that's a busy, active port on our waterfront, and it, as you can see, takes up a lot of the land. But what it does mean for us is a long frontage with no interruptions, no driveways.
Exactly,
It's a great opportunity for a no conflict cycleway.
Right. Okay, so we're going to turn around now. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll head back and do some more exploring.
Yeah, this cycleway runs for a few more kilometres along the eastern bays, and there's a big new connection being built to it right now, which is a boardwalk out to a big new housing development area called Glen Innes. So that's been going for a few years, and they're just doing the final bit to connect it into this path.
Okay, fantastic. All right, we'll head back the other way. So I would imagine, that this city is really no different than any of the large global cities where you have a fairly large population and a fairly large geographic area. That all things active mobility and transit can be a little bit of a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's common around the world that people don't like change necessarily, and they certainly don't like change when it involves the removal of car parking. So
Yes.
I think our experience is no different to many places around the world, in that where we propose to remove car parking, that comes with community engagement challenges. And this route actually, this was car parking along here, all the way into the city that we reallocated for cycling.
Right.
And you can see a bus layover to my left. Into the downtown area that we're going into now, that removed car parking and some traffic lanes.
Right.
So again, people were worried about would that cause traffic congestion and challenges, but it is part of an overarching city centre master plan that's ultimately looking at making more people-friendly streets and improving access for everyone, walking, cycling, public transport, and those people who have to drive in.
Right. And I happen to be staying up on, I think you called it the Ridge Line on
Yes.
Ponsonby. And it was wonderful there in my little hotel. I'm staying at the Ponsonby Manor. There's these old historic, beautiful old historic photos of Ponsonby Road that had tram lines and
Yes.
horse-drawn tram lines. And so you look at that street and you look at the historic nature of all the buildings in that street, and you're like, this is curious. Why is there so many car lanes?
Yes.
Because you've got parking on both sides plus 2 lanes of high-speed traffic. And you're like, this doesn't make sense. They don't add up. These buildings are so old.
Yes.
And in fact, that's the reason why they're so wide, is they used to be tramline roads.
Yeah, Auckland had in the 1940s and 50s one of the highest rates of public transport use in the world. We had a really comprehensive tram network, and that's what our older suburbs were built around. The sort of scale and density to support those tram lines. And much like other cities, we decided to heavily invest in a motorway system and suburbs in the outer reaches of our city. So we do have that traditional mix you see in other cities of a central area that was built to support public transport and the wide streets that trams travelled along, and then suburbs that were designed for cars and less walkable, less cyclable. So our focus for investment in the city has been from the central area outwards.
Right.
And we're starting to do some of those more car-dependent suburbs in the outer reaches of the city now.
Yeah. What would you say are some of the results, these initial results of the work in the past decade here, in terms of being able to create an environment where all ages and abilities feel a little bit more comfortable riding for everyday use?
Yeah. So I think we're still early days in our journey. We've seen a significant increase in the All Ages Abilities Network in the last decade, 15 years. But there's still about 80% of Auckland's cycling network that's planned is yet to be built. So we've got a long way to go before everyone can safely get to where they need to go.
Yeah.
We'll just pull over here and I can talk a little bit about this section.
Yeah.
So we just pull over into here. But we're seeing really significant uptake on the newer parts of our network, and particularly those sections that have multiple connections and so are more of a connected network. So we're seeing roughly 30% increase per year on those routes, and a more average 8% or so across the city. So there's very clear evidence now that where the network is safe and connecting up is where people are using it.
Right, right. And we mentioned it earlier too, just the fact that you also throw the hills into the mix.
Yes.
It's not really a surprise that when the automobile became ubiquitous and most of the bigger roads transformed from tram and public transit over to automobiles, that eventually when wealth caught up and households could afford 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars, it headed in that direction.
Exactly.
But the problem, of course, is you can't keep adding unlimited cars. You run into gridlock.
Yeah, we have that now in Auckland. Congestion
and
costs
you probably
us a lot.
have had it for decades.
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not anything new.
Absolutely, and there's, because of that real shift towards making it more accessible to drive at the same time as removing public transport accessibility, for many people in Auckland, that's the only option they have. And so we're very car dependent compared to other places around the world. Because of that car dependency, the removal of car parking is a hard thing to do. Driving's already difficult and people don't enjoy it.
Right.
It's hard to find a car park, so the thought of removing it is hard for people.
Yeah. Is it almost easier, like we'll use Ponsonby Road as an example since I know it so well, having been staying there for the last few days, is it actually easier to keep the car parking on the street, the on-street car parking, and removing one travel lane?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our arterial network, we've become increasingly successful at reallocating car parking space for bus lanes. So we have a bus network that has had a lot of investment in the last couple of decades, and we're seeing we've seen a recovery from pre-COVID levels and real growth on new parts of the bus network. So that's come because the bus is time efficient with the bus lanes that have been put in and really good bus priority in places. And so that for us has been a really good step on the way of rethinking how street space is to be used.
Right.
I think our final, if you want to call it a final frontier, is shopping centres. So Ponsonby Road's a great example.
Right.
And I think you're right that a traffic lane would be easier for us to have a conversation about than the car parking along there.
Yeah.
There's lots of small independent shops, and generally when we go and talk to shop owners, they feel like that car parking is vital to the success of their shop.
And what we're finding globally right now too is that we can use that on-street parking to create a safer, more welcoming environment for pedestrians and for people on bikes, because you can have on-street, have parking protected active mobility lanes and parking protected pedestrian realm. Where you decrease the number of motor vehicles traveling at speed and are able to have that buffer, have that protection of parking. And we did see that a little bit on a tour that I did yesterday where there were some parking protected bike lanes, and it just brings that stress level down. And you could tell that it would be a much more pleasant environment for many of those cafes and businesses along a stretch like that.
Have a bit of separation from traffic, definitely. We've had a few. We've got a few really good examples now, so people have a proof of concept, I guess, of where a really nice streetscape upgrade has included a rationalisation of car parking and cycleways included in that, and a calming of the street, and lots of things that make the street more pleasant for people. Behind us is our main public square that the train station comes out onto, and the ferry station next to us. And behind that is Queen Street, which is the key shopping arterial up the city centre. And in that street we've done just that. We've built out the space for people walking and people cycling. There's a cycling lane running up the street that has parking on one side of it, and the traffic lanes have been squeezed right down. It used to be 4 lanes and is 2 lanes, but kept parking and kept or added more space for people moving.
Right. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Now, you just mentioned the fact that we're at this really public plaza space area. What did this look like, a couple decades ago? Was this chock full of cars?
Yes, absolutely. This is Te Komatanga Square, which is our main square, and has a beautiful motif on the ground that represents a local Maori design. The square was once a continuation of Queen Street, so you could drive all the way down here. It had a lot of car parking in the street. And the building we're now utilising for our train station used to be the central post office, so generated a bit of traffic. And then we went through a period in the last decade where was a square that still had car parking and a bit of access through it, but it wasn't designed in a way that enabled people to sit and enjoy the space. It was a bit of a wind tunnel, and not so pleasant. So this reincarnation has been very successful, and once the train line is finished, it's going to be a people fountain. And
I like that, a people fountain. Yes. And you had mentioned too, this is where we also have the ferry terminal over here too.
Auckland, as you've probably seen, we're a coastal city. We have 2 harbours, and so ferries are a really important part of our rapid transit system. There's a number of places across the water here where they're on a peninsula, and driving's pretty congested, but they're a very short ferry ride across the water to here, and a much more pleasant way to get to work or wherever you need to get to. And actually the suburb across there, Devonport, has one of our highest levels of cycling in Auckland, because it's much easier to get on your bike to get to the ferry terminal. You can bring your bike across on the ferry and continue your journey on.
Fabulous.
So that's been almost too successful. It's hard to cater to the number of people who want to do that with their bikes now.
And how much does it cost to catch the ferry over?
We have a single stage here, so it's $3 to $4, I think.
And is it all controlled by an app, or do you tap on, tap off with your card or your phone?
Both. So you can use your app, and you can use what we call a hop card here in Auckland. It's a transport card, or you can use your ATM card. So if you have that on your phone, or if you have a card itself.
Like Apple Pay or something like that.
Exactly. So many options, and then it just removes a fare stage off your card.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Well, I will test that out tomorrow. I'm going to be on an early ferry in the morning so that I can do some filming over there.
Oh, wonderful. Excellent. The other thing I wanted to show you here is the long-term aspiration for Quay Street is a low traffic, slow traffic, lots of planting, and lots of places for people to sit. And you can see there's a dedicated space for people cycling. So it used to look like the section we came up with, the concrete separators.
Yes.
And as we've gone and upgraded the street, you can see see what's possible for our permanent cycling network.
Yeah, I think this is really brilliant too, and this kind of fits with a framing and a trend that I'm seeing globally right now. Is yes, the safety using metal bollards and using concrete, that essential separation is key for that sense of safety. But even better if you can make it beautiful, and so beautifying and adding green infrastructure, softening up the environment, bringing down that heat island effect, when possible trying to депave and putting in rainwater, stormwater management and rain gardens, all the better.
Yeah, this street clearly is the final section of the city before our harbour, and the harbour is really important to us as Aucklanders. So having rain gardens and making sure any stormwater coming off the street was clean, that was a pretty integral part of the project.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I look forward to rolling down this section.
So we're going to ride along, and I'm going to take you up the least steep hill, which will include a couple of stops to show you where the new parts of our network are tying in.
Wonderful.
But there is a section of bus lane we'll be riding in. If that's,
Thanks for the warning.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just so nice having that little bit of pop of green here. You see some integration of some street trees in here now.
And
this is
really, one I use a lot to eat my lunch. It's a lovely little public square here that looks out over the water. So we'll stop here and then we'll turn off up Albert Street.
Okay, very good.
But this section, when we rebuilt the seawall, this public square was built out. So it's fairly new in our city's evolution.
Right. Very nice.
Yeah, a lot of our waterfront is port, so the sections that are public access, it's really important to us. We make it really open to people.
Right.
Should be able to go.
There we go.
Right, so we're on Albert Street now, which is the street that the new train line is running under.
Okay.
So we'll pass two of the new stations coming up here.
And when will the train line be completed?
It'll open later this year, mid to late this year, and will dramatically reduce journey times for people travelling by train. So it's going to be a real game changer for Auckland that the train, which is already well used, but people have been pretty patient through lots and lots of works in the last few years to get this new line in. There'll be more trains, higher frequencies, and much shorter journeys for people. So very exciting.
And for the train, does that will that help people, traveling into the airport get here?
In a way. So there's a new station that was built on the Southern Line called Puanui Station.
Okay.
And you can get, there's a bus that goes every 5 to 10 minutes from Puanui Station to the airport. Okay. But not
a direct train.
Direct to the train.
Yeah. That seems to be a familiar challenge that cities have, is getting that rail transit line to the station, the airport. Yeah.
We had a light rail project. We'll just run with the pedestrians here. We had a light rail project in development over a few years, and that was one that didn't survive the political policy changes of the last few years. So that's still a problem to be solved for Auckland.
Yeah. Well, you brought it up, so let's talk a little bit about that, because this is something that cities globally, are dealing with. Is, how do you feel? How do you keep that momentum rolling as administrations change, as they will do?
Well, one thing we've really leaned into here, that I've mentioned a couple of times, is the incremental build out of our infrastructure. And we've been doing that with cycling for quite some time. We're starting to do that with public transport. So we have a bus line, we have a train system, and then we have a rapid bus network.
Right.
And we have a couple of lines now of separated entirely offline from traffic busways. And the next one that's in construction at the moment, we've done it on an interim basis. So it's using the motorway shoulders and has temporary stations in place. And it's been widely respected and well used, and has huge political support because it's been very low cost.
Right.
And that political support, and seeing that people are embracing and using this new route, is building the political support for the bigger investment in the dedicated busway.
Right.
So that's something we've set out in our transport plan, that a great way for us to avoid that challenge of projects being turned off and on, is to get them going and show people the potential.
Right. Again, that proof of concept, get something on the ground.
Yeah.
Give people something that they can grab onto. And I think it's essential too that these projects, especially the active mobility projects, is something that will resonate with everybody, whether they choose to walk or bike.
Yes, absolutely. We'll pull up over here and I'll show you a new part of our network. We can get across to that corner. It might be a good place to... Oh no, I think we've missed that. Let's stop here. So Auckland's central cycling network has been rolled out with the waterfront route that I showed you, and then there were two outer routes that circle the city centre. Which started to create a bit of accessibility, but didn't help you get into the city, which is where people are going for work and university and so forth. So we're starting to see our central connecting routes. This street's Victoria Street, and the new station to Waihoratu is here. There's some nice bike parking by the station. There's a cycleway to help you get to the station. And it runs from Franklin Road, where you've been by Victoria Park, and will run all the way up to the university on this side of the city. So that's another one that utilises traffic lanes. It used to be a 4-lane road, and that's been squeezed down to give a really nice, generous footpath and a cycleway here.
Wow, fantastic. And really, going back to the comment that I was making about, trying to create a network that, people who never necessarily walk or bike for their everyday transport, if they can start to see the value of this network being built out, it helps decrease the amount of immediate resistance.
That's right. I know from working on this project, we initially had a bit of skepticism because, as you can see, this is quite a hilly part of the city.
Right.
But it is the quickest way to get across the city.
Right.
So with e-bikes, but also just people naturally, as we know, want to go the quickest way possible. So the hill's less important
Right.
in the street design and when it is the fastest way to get somewhere.
Yeah.
We're going to continue up, and what you can see straight ahead is the other side of the station to
Okay.
Waihoatu. And then we'll, on the other side of the station, join another new cycleway.
Fantastic.
Yeah, the two routes that circle the city are quite steep, so this is a good alternative when you're not on an e-bike.
Yeah. Well, I probably won't upgrade to an electric Brompton simply because traveling with an electric bike and batteries is so difficult. This is much more convenient, but
Yeah, it's one of our challenges with getting them shipped into this country, actually. It's
yeah.
hard to do that.
Yes. I will most likely make the upgrade to the titanium version,
Ah, nice
which will
light one.
it'll be much lighter.
Lovely.
I turn 61 next week, and so
Oh, happy birthday.
thank you. I'll be at the conference for my birthday.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's nice to have just a little bit less weight when I'm carrying all my heavy camera gear.
Absolutely. I think we can go here.
Nice.
And will you be going to the Urban Nerds event?
The Urban Nerds event. I might.
We'll just nip around the car across the pedestrian light. So here's the other station. And on our left is the Aotea Centre, which is the heart of our entertainment. There's art gallery and theatres and
okay.
so forth.
Fabulous.
This bit of the street will be redesigned.
Okay.
And on the other side here, we're about to join the next cycleway.
Okay. Now you're coming out of summer,
Yes.
going into your fall. And what is wintertime like here?
Auckland is a temperate climate, so
Okay.
it's never very hot or very cold.
Okay.
So our summer is 24, 25 degrees.
Right.
And winter would be 10 to 15 degrees or so.
Very, very comfortable.
Yeah.
In other words, what you're saying is it's perfect for riding a bike.
We do have rain, which I'm sure you'll have people complaining to you about.
Oh, sure.
I think
people need
everywhere,
something to
yeah,
complain
I was going
about,
to
right?
say, everywhere has something
Yeah.
that they want to complain about, I think.
Yeah.
So this is the hill, and we'll turn the corner onto another hill, but this used to be car parking,
Okay.
but it is one of the main accesses for buses. So
Okay. I love the tree canopy.
I know, me too.
This is amazing.
It's lovely, like Franklin Road you will have
Yeah, Franklin Road.
experienced. Yeah, it's lovely in summer
Yeah, I bet.
to give a bit of shade, and there's been a big effort by Auckland Council to try and replicate this in other parts of the city where the tree canopy is much less dense.
And going back to the summertime, are you starting to push closer to extreme heat conditions? Or not so much?
It's less extreme heat and more extreme weather.
Okay.
And by that I mean cyclones and heavy rainfall.
Okay.
So we've had a number of cyclones that have caused significant damage and loss of life. We'll just pass over here. And that's something that we're all grappling with. How do we, we'll just go straight here. How do we create a sponge city that can absorb those really high rainfalls?
She's using terminology. Sponge city, yeah.
So there's a
That's
few
good.
few really important projects,
Yeah.
and then just as simple as like the rain gardens
Yeah,
you
right
can
here.
see now.
Good timing.
But we've got a long way to go, and there's a big discussion about how much of our budgets nationally will we have to ensure we're putting aside for emergency works and response in the future, and getting that balance of building infrastructure that can accommodate these extreme weather events.
Right.
And responding to it. So we're up now at Karangahape Station, and the Karangahape Road Cycleway is straight ahead of us. So this again will be a nice connection into the station, but it also enables us to access some of the really important cycle routes that head to our western suburbs.
Right.
So we could pull over here and have a look.
Okay. I think some of the transformations that we're talking about here, recently, certainly the stuff that is really quite relevant is again dealing with stormwater runoff, and so things that we see like right here with these rain gardens here, and seeing the channelization. I think that's another wonderful aspect of trying to position active mobility infrastructure as being something more than just it's not just for the cyclists, for the bike people.
Yes.
This is something that is going to be good for the entire community. Again, reduces that heat island effect, reduces the stormwater runoff, helps our harbor waters and all of that. So it doesn't seem like it's just for a special interest lobby, because we're really talking about infrastructure of transforming streets for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's multiple benefits. It's not just one benefit. It's not just say
and that's been,
public health or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. What we've talked about in Auckland more recently is that cycleways and increasingly bus projects actually are really complex utility works with a bit of tarmac on top of them. So our Eastern Busway project is 3 years of underground utility works,
Right.
and then we're laying tarmac to run the buses on. But those utility works are creating clean water,
Right.
separating stormwater from wastewater, and cleaning the stormwater, and really, really beneficial things for the long term.
Yeah.
And this project, Karangahape Road, this is a entertainment district street, and has the new train station that will open in a few months' time.
Okay.
But when we started working on this project, it was very much what is the next iteration of this street that enables the street to flourish and communities around it, but enables better access for people walking, people riding, and the people who will come off the train station.
Right.
And at the same time supports the entertainment district. So there's areas with, let's see here, lots of cafe seating.
Yeah.
And at night there's bars coming out onto the street, and the cultural references that make the street really important to the community. So there's a crossing down there that's a pride crossing that reflects the community. There are a lot of Maori artworks along the street. You can see in the design of the street furniture. And we've tried to build a cycleway that integrates into that streetscape in a way that makes it nicer for everyone. So you can see the nice chamfered curbs down into the sunken cycleway. And that is that raise up through the busier areas. That's to try and make a street that the cycleway is sympathetic in its environment.
Yeah. Again, it's not about the bikes, it's about one little piece of the overall puzzle of making a more pleasant environment for everybody, including the businesses.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And it is like Ponsonby Road, it's a ridge line, so this is where the water is collecting from to go down towards the ocean. And
Okay.
we want to make sure it's clean from here all the way down.
All the way down. Fantastic. Okay, very good. Yeah, I've noticed that you have very frequently there's the everybody cross all at the same time. The Barnes Dance is what we call it in Denver, and I'm not sure if that's the terminology you use. Yep. That was done some time ago in Denver. Mr. Barnes came up with that. So let's have everybody cross at the same time. The irony, of course, is that Denver doesn't have very many Barnes dances anymore.
No.
So, but they used to.
We call it a Barnes dance and have no
Yeah.
history of Barnes.
That's where it comes from. Yeah, Mr. Barnes. I can't remember if he was a traffic engineer, a signal engineer, or a planner, but he was there in the Denver area way back when. So
They give a nice long crossing time and quite an efficient way to use the time.
Yes.
The other thing we're being really critical with here is putting just cross over this way, the timer countdown. So
Yeah.
you know how long you have to cross it.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
not rushing.
And what's nice about that too is, everybody, when you're traveling at human speed, humans have the natural ability of navigating the space around them. It's oftentimes we get overly paranoid about separating bikes from peds. And yes, at speed you should have that, but in an environment where you're going slowly, we can certainly share space.
Exactly.
Ah.
So this is a very new section of the Central Cycleway. This opened just a couple of weeks ago now.
Brand spanking new. Woohoo!
It's the intersection of a couple of routes here. I'll just stop here and explain.
Yeah.
Quite a number of our motorways here have a cycleway running alongside them, and you can see behind or in front of us here is our motorway, Central Motorway Junction.
Yeah.
And to the west is one of our busiest motorway routes, but also busiest cycleways.
Okay.
Heading out to people in those western suburbs. And I mentioned there's a couple of those suburbs now where the cycleway networks are being rolled out within the suburbs. So
Okay.
people can get onto the motorway, the cycling highway,
Okay.
and cycle around their own community to get to school or the beach or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is the cycling junction of that motorway network and access into the Central City network.
Right.
So it's neat for us to see a cycling intersection and
Yeah.
coming together.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, and I look forward to the day when this is a busy intersection right about this time of day and just see thousands of people on bikes, Utrecht style.
Yes.
That would be fun. So when you talk about the suburbs, how many kilometers away are we talking?
So the suburb that's just been completed, Point Chevalier, that's about 6 kilometres.
Okay, so not too terribly far. Yeah.
25 minutes by bike.
Yeah.
And they'll be progressively rolled out along there over time.
Yeah.
With as money permits.
Right. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, this is really extraordinary infrastructure. It's got to be very satisfying to you and gratifying to you to see this in place.
It's just neat seeing our lines on a map become reality.
Yeah.
Knowing the hard work that many people put into that, and the leadership the city is showing and creating this space. So I think knowing everything that sits behind it and acknowledging all that hard work.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, you're about to show me an older piece of infrastructure that's been around for a while. You and I talked about this oh gosh, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? Oh my, it was COVID era time, yeah. So we're gonna go see this, and that's part of the reason why this is so exciting, is it's a connector. Without this, this next bit of infrastructure was just kind of sitting there and then kind of dropped you into this area.
Exactly.
Very good.
The old way to get around here was sharing with people on the footpath, and we know that's it's not nice for anyone. It's really a street that's fairly steep. It's a 12 degree grade. That's not nice to share there.
Again, we were just talking about it. It's like there's an appropriate place for people on bikes and people walking to be able to share space, people in mobility scooters like wheelchairs, like the person behind us. You know, there's an appropriate space for that, and on steep hills is not an appropriate space for that. Okay, very good. Let's go get on the pink path. Woohoo!
So there's lots of planting still to come in these rain gardens, but we've opened it up so people can use it now. So this is the Canada Street Bridge that's leading us onto the Tiara Ifiti, which translates to the light path.
Okay.
And I think commonly called the pink cycleway.
Right. For obvious reasons, yes. Is there any historical significance to choosing pink?
Yeah, the pink represents the color of the wood that was of the trees that were originally grown here before colonial settlement, and we created this very busy motorway network that we're running over now.
So it's a hat tip, a nod to that historical.
You can see that in the design along the route.
Yeah.
And this was pretty revolutionary for us because it started with the urban cycle program that I mentioned before. So it was the first project that we kicked off. And what we're cycling on now was once a motorway lane.
Okay.
So it was an emergency exit for the motorway and had never been used as an emergency exit, so it was just sitting empty. And many advocates pushed for, and were successful in getting this to be a nice, safe link into the city for people cycling from the west and vice versa.
Right, yeah.
And as I mentioned, it's suffered in the sun, and we have very strong sun here.
Right.
In New Zealand, it's faded quite a bit, and is due for a resurface soon. When we opened this, it was a very bright magenta.
Yes.
A lot of people coming up to take their Instagram photos.
Yeah.
But it has lights that come up at night, and is often when I'm riding home. This is my route home.
Okay.
I often see people almost promenading like you do in other cities around the world.
Right.
People who live in the city, this is a nice route to just take a walk along.
Yeah.
And does give you the great satisfaction of riding quickly across people stuck in traffic.
Not that we have that Schadenfreude sort of approach to things, yes, but just saying.
So we're
And you see we have our own bike light right here. Very nice.
Please head down Nelson Street, which takes us back to the waterfront of the city centre. So this is one of our oldest routes. Again, that utilised a traffic lane, which people were quite worried about because there's several motorway routes that converge here as this car access to the city, and would we get a terrible congestion problem by removing one of those traffic lanes, and surprisingly, it's been fine. So
I was just going to say, not surprisingly, it's been just fine. We still have four other travel lanes in this one direction. So yeah, there's no shortage of them. Now, one of the things that we noticed when we were on the pink path is that it was so comfortable being able to ride side by side.
Yes. Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, so when we were designing that, we did have conversations about should we put seating in here and should we put interactive things. But actually that 7 meters wide and that 7 meters is really nice.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people riding along with their kids, and it's a great feeling to be able to ride side by side.
Well, I'm so glad you said that. That's exactly my point about creating for cities, encouraging cities, build your cycle paths and your bike lanes much, much wider than you think is necessary. Because the reality is once you get an all ages and abilities network in place, you're going to get just that, all ages and all abilities, which means you're going to have more of the parents riding with their children. And guess what? We would, as a parent, I think, you're a parent, aren't you?
Yes, and my son's 13. And he graduated quite a long time from riding on my bike to riding on his bike.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to have a chat as we ride along.
And we see this in the Netherlands too, is where the little tykes will be on their little bikes and the parent will just gently give a little, hand behind their back and helping them along and chatting with them and encouraging them. And so again, it's not about entitled cyclists. We don't want to have wide cycleways for, anything more than just a really comfortable environment for everybody and to get more people riding. And so that really helps, I think.
One thing we have talked about, I'm not sure if you've seen examples elsewhere, but we've taken here, as you've experienced, we have a lot of bi-directional cycleways.
Yeah.
And there was some worry about that initially, about whether they would be safe with people riding in opposing directions, and we haven't had a problem with that.
Yeah.
But we have talked about as the growth of cycling gets to a level that makes it uncomfortable, there's the opportunity to create a single lane and another one on the other side.
Exactly,
and
yes.
So this is potentially future-proofing us for the next iteration of the growth of the cycle network.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, because we can see this here. When you have a generous two-way cycle path, you are able to, create that additional facility on the other side of the street. Whereas when you have a really, really narrow space like we're going into right now, it's much more difficult to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is great.
So up ahead of us is one of the quieter waterfront streets.
Okay.
And we had a long debate over whether, because it's a quiet, low traffic street, does it need a separate cycling space? I think our early days of network growth, we had that. I think the view of something can just be good enough, but actually our aspiration is for people to feel safe all the way to their destinations.
Yeah.
Whilst the street is pretty quiet, that's made a big difference, that short section of dedicated space.
Right, yeah. And looking into the distance here as to where we're headed, again, we've got that tree canopy again.
Yes.
It's wonderful to see that, being so close to the downtown central business district area. We don't have to go very far and we have our little tree canopied street again. Which I'm sure helps contribute to the sense of it being a slow street.
off of such a big, heavy traffic street, you just feel a lot calmer, and that is the closeness of the street and the canopy that the trees create.
Yeah.
Yeah, this used to be a lane of traffic and car parking between the trees. And we had a bit of a debate of what do you do with that car parking space. And you can see there's some seats and some bike parking. And we just pull over here. So the old car parking bays are filled with seating and planting, and some bike parking and motorbike parking, and yeah, it's fairly well used by people around this area. It's a very popular area for socializing.
Right.
Lots of bars and restaurants.
Yes, yes. Well, this is delightful right here, yeah. And so, yeah, we just came down, this hill right over here. That's what we came down. And now we have yet another intersection of two-way cycle paths. You've got to love that.
Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
we love that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is working for this city I think it creates quite nice adaptable space. You can ride
Right.
side by side. It can take the sort of bigger flows of commuting traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And in one day, when we've got that problem that other cities have of congested cycleways, we
Yeah.
can build out from them.
Build out even further. Yeah, fantastic. And then behind us here, what happens?
Yeah, so this is what we
Oh, okay, so this actually curves. I was thinking that it was an intersection of two, so this curves around. Got it.
This is Wynyard. We're entering our viaduct area in Wynyard Quarter, and it's a big area of redevelopment in the city. Our city's development agency is working closely with the private sector to redevelop old industrial spaces.
Okay.
And we can have a ride in there. What you'll see is very slow traffic calm streets. So,
I love it. Yeah.
and some paths like this one that goes along the waterfront that you can ride on.
Right.
But you have the option of the quiet, very low traffic volume streets, or riding along the wide path.
Yeah, let's take the low traffic street here and share some space with cars. I think they'll be nice to us.
Yeah, I hope so.
They should be.
So this bit hasn't been upgraded in a while. What
Okay.
we see when we cross the border is the newer upgraded streets that are paved.
Okay.
Like you see in European.
Yeah, let's go see that. That'll be fun.
So as I mentioned, Auckland is a maritime city. We have a lot of boats in our city. People love to sail, and it's really nice to have that access to the water. So this area has become very, very popular for young families, people working down here. It's a nice mixed-use development at the edge of the city centre.
Yeah. Yeah, you see the gentle density here. You see some office space, but you also see plenty of residential here. This is really encouraging. And again, as you mentioned, low traffic, low speed streets. People getting around by bike and scooters, very comfortable.
Yeah, the e-scooters have been very popular in our cities.
Yeah.
We're going to head this way. We're just following the line.
This is quite comfortable.
Yes, yeah. It does get a bit
Yeah.
But what we might do, just as we turn the corner, we'll head off onto that path across the water. So the curb drops a bit in the middle there, and you can nip between the bollards. Just
Oh, okay.
here.
Yeah.
And then we'll go along past those umbrellas. And you can experience the waterside path in the slope street.
This reminds me a little bit of Boston's waterfront. Yeah.
I've been once.
Yeah. And they're doing the same thing. They're, working to transform a lot of that waterfront, into more people-oriented places using pavers like this, and, encouraging more, bringing more life, to what probably was previously, maritime and other industrial uses.
And across this area there are the slow traffic streets, and the city has planned a little laneway network through the middle. So there's, streets on the outside of a perimeter block
Right.
that traffic can go on, and then we'll go through the middle there, and you'll see the traffic-free streets through the center of the perimeter block.
Yeah. Yeah, and we're seeing, parent with child out riding. That's why we're doing these.
So this street, come down the middle between those paths. So these are the no traffic laneways that have been built between the buildings. There's a few, there's a media design school, there's a few architects, one of our big engineering firms down here, and more quite playful water sensitive design through the centre.
Yeah.
They've
Speaking of quite playful.
They've tried to make use of the old industrial buildings, so it's a mixture of new and old through here. And as you mentioned, the mixture of the housing development and places people come to work and restaurants. So you can see a lot of space here has been given over to people, the public realm.
Yeah.
There's really fun spaces for kids built in. So behind you there's some slides and a really popular playground, some big basketball courts.
Right.
But these really low traffic, quiet streets that run through the centre, and that's the aspiration for this area.
And I believe this is the Daldy Linear Park,
Yes,
correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
You've done your research.
Yes. Well, and there's a little bit of a hat tip here to the canoes and the traditional mariner thing. This reminds me a lot of Hawaii Island, and that heritage of the voyaging canoes.
Absolutely. The project teams work closely with Maori designers to reflect what in Aotearoa New Zealand we call the waka. Is it the waka in Hawaii as well?
I don't believe it is. Yeah.
Might be similar.
Yeah.
Waka, reflected in the lighting. So the lighting columns.
Right.
That are, clearly very beautiful at
Yeah.
night, but also make a real a beautiful addition in the day too.
Yeah, fantastic. And if it's okay, it'd be wonderful to roll down through here and go check out some of the children's facilities that are there. Because again, if we want to make these environments, again, we're transforming what was previously maritime and industrial zones into places where people are going to live and raise their children. You have to think about, okay, do we have spaces for the kids? Can they play? There's a park at the far end here, Victoria Park, and there's several different things there, including a skate park and other facilities. But the playground that we'll see in just a moment is another hat tip to those parents that are making that difficult decision of, do we want to live out in the suburbs or do we want to be close in?
Absolutely, and I think one really smart approach by the city was to do some of those things first. So,
right.
Those children's friendly spaces, people spaces were built first in this development.
Right.
And so people could see the vision of what this will be like in the future.
Yeah.
And you can see straight ahead of us that's still the marine industry busy there. So
yeah.
It continues to be a place that boats are made and repaired. That industry remains, but it's a mix of space now.
Right. And this large truck notwithstanding, it's been so quiet and pleasant, standing here and carrying on a conversation. It's a big difference from, when you have a high-speed motorway. It's so much more pleasant. It kind of reinforces the tagline and the phrase of, cities aren't noisy, cars make cities noisy.
Exactly, and that has come with concerted policy effort in this space. When the space was rezoned, it had a modal share target, so a target for keeping the number of cars coming into the area low, and that's monitored by a business association, and there's a limit on car parking in this area as the buildings are being constructed out. So it has come with policy and vision for the city, and people now enjoying the space and supporting that.
Well, you just said something there that's very curious and very interesting, limiting the amount of car parking. And the late, great Donald Shoup used to say that one of the high costs of free parking is that free parking is a fertility drug for cars. They just multiply. Clearly, if you're limiting car parking, this has been an abject failure. Nobody wants to live here, right?
Oh, exactly. You can see the empty buildings.
We're being very facetious, folks. For those who aren't, where English is not your first language, yes, we're teasing a little bit. This has been a tremendous success. I can tell because I come down here at night and it's just vibrant and occupied. Yeah.
Yes, and New Zealand, we do have, we've made enshrined in our legislation, we've removed our minimum parking standards on new developments.
Is that countrywide, nationwide?
Countrywide.
Wow. Now, how about at the municipal level, the cities, are they still able to do them or they cannot do them?
Countrywide legislation change, and then in Auckland we have our unitary plan which sets that out for the city. That's not to say we don't have a huge amount of car parking, which I'm sure you've seen, but no longer the requirement to have it that we know drives pretty poor land use.
Well, I think your point is very, very valid there. It's not that we're legislating cars out of existence. That's not the point at all. We're just no longer subsidizing them by mandate of saying that you have to provide X amount of car parking. Certain places will build the car parking because there's a market force for that. But what has happened in cities globally is that we have mandated that car parking be provided. That's a subsidy to cars, and again, to Donald Shoup's point, is it's a fertility drug to encouraging more and more cars. Yeah.
It does make, we have a cost of living crisis here, like
Yeah.
other places. We have a housing crisis. We know that mandating minimum parking levels on developments makes them more expensive.
Yeah.
That people, when provided with that choice of paying for car parking, often choose to have less car parking.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny how, so often when we have these streets are for people conversations, car parking comes up. I wonder why. Okay, let's carry on.
yeah, my son's a bit old for it now, but he did spend many hours on that slide
Okay.
at one time.
That's such a great point, though, being able to raise one's children in an environment which, Jan Gehl said this many, many years ago. It's like every day when you wake up and you feel like your city is becoming a more welcoming environment, for people, there's got to be just an encouraging feeling.
Well, I went through a stage of him really enjoying parkour.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you suddenly see the city as a playground. I think it's
Yes.
really important. It's really important. It's very enlightening seeing the eyes through a.
Right. Somebody who's using that, and parkour for people who aren't familiar with that term, it's where you basically use everything around you as sort of like almost like a jungle gym. It's a platform for all sorts of activities. Yeah.
In this area, I think it with anyone with growing children, you'll appreciate playgrounds when they're little.
Yeah.
But
Let's roll that way. Yeah.
But as children grow, you need to ensure spaces are provided for older children. So
Right.
Here there's basketball courts here, and on the other side, there's really nice gathering places for kids. And behind us is a whole row of restaurants and bars and things for all the older kids amongst us.
Yeah.
You can see and a space that can or has been used often for markets and shows, outdoor cinema, art gallery, art spaces in the silos. So it's very thoughtfully used space.
Yeah. Are these still working silos, or will these be converted?
They're empty and are a revolving exhibition space.
Ah, okay. Here we've got the city in the background. We can kind of see, and again, this is that waterfront pathway, a walkway that you had mentioned earlier, where you can ride a bike through there, but it's very, very intense in terms of the number of pedestrians down there.
Yeah, that was one of the big drivers for the path that we were traveling on before in the slow vehicle streets.
Yeah.
Was recognizing that when it's busy along here with people and often events, big crowds, we don't want to require that mixing of people trying to ride and enjoy the space. So people need options.
Right.
They can jump onto the quiet streets or those paths running behind this central area and keep this space free for people to dawdle along and enjoy.
Well, Kathryn, this has been so much fun.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes,
Wonderful.
thank you so very much, and I'm enjoying this colorful backdrop that we have here. We have the silos that are here, but we have this pop of color with these two containers and your beautiful colorful dress and helmet. Any final thoughts that you'd like to leave the audience with?
I think Auckland is a great example of a city that's steadily delivering on our plan, and sometimes things go quickly and sometimes we're plodding away at it, but it shows that keeping that effort on and doing doing what we can is really starting to reap rewards with more and more people feeling comfortable to get around by bike and having options in a city that, as we talked about, has for a long time only had the option to drive.
Right.
So this big investment in public transport and walking and cycling is it's going to give us choices that will set us up for the future and enable my children and future children to have those choices of where they live, where they go, and how they get there.
Yeah, yeah. Any sage advice for folks who are tuning in from around the globe that maybe in an environment where they're not this far along yet?
We've had a lot of success, as I talked about, from building out in an incremental way, building with low-cost materials that provide safety. They're separated from traffic, but they're low-cost concrete barriers or planters,
right,
that we make better and improve over time.
Right.
And there's definitely things that made a big bang, like our pink path, and did require a good investment.
Right.
And those things really gather people around them and get people excited. But it doesn't all have to be like that.
Right.
We can utilize a bit of street space, make it safe for people at quite a low cost, and that as paths start to connect up, they show people what's possible. And that's a great way to get started.
It sounds like what you're saying is, don't be afraid to use lighter, quicker, cheaper materials, get something down, have that proof of concept so that, the visualization for the naysayers or the people who are, you're going to always have naysayers, but, the people who are in between, in the middle, that, can get swayed to the negative side, it gives them an opportunity to see, oh, wow, this is possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and we've won over a few people who were worried in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now they can see there's space for everyone here.
Yeah, fantastic. Kathryn, thank you so very much for showing me your fine city.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you. Woo!
You're welcome.
All right, right up here. Boom.
You're very good at that. It's a well-oiled machine.
Oh, thank you.